Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to my Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So here it is, I'm going to download the game right now. What? Okay. What? This is not a game? Oh, you're kidding me. What is this? Save data update? What? I'm just kidding. That's gotta be the stupidest thing ever, but I did want to do it. Why am I unplugging the nunchuck for? As you can see by the title, I mean, this is part 0, not part 1. And it's a pretty long video, too, as you see. Or at least, I mean, I don't know it yet, but it should be a long video. So that's Skyward Sword. Actually, to be honest, I started off this way on purpose, and not just to keep the tradition of odd Wii menu beginnings to my Let's Plays, but also because I have a lot I want to say. So, strap in, get your popcorn ready, and listen to my backstory about how I felt before and after, and that very interesting time when I had the game but hadn't played it yet. Or if you're not interested, I can totally understand why you wouldn't be. And head on over to part 1. Yep, like I said, head on over to part 1. Haha, that didn't go as planned, oh well. This game was hinted at ever since Twilight Princess came out, when people wanted to know if Nintendo would design a Zelda game for the Wii. They hinted at it for years, and in 2009 we finally saw screenshots. The game grew well from the time when people were still unsure whether Link would even have a sword. And after a few delays, it was known that Skyward Sword would finally hit American store shelves on November 20th, 2012. What a very exciting feeling that must have been for me, being able to finally play the newest Zelda game. Yes, it should have been very exciting. But mostly, I was nervous. Nervous to play Skyward Sword because of one factor. The game used Wii Motion Plus to put that kind of motion sensing emphasis on your sword. And all of your items, too. I wasn't just skeptical, I was scared to death. I was convinced that this was not the way for Zelda to go. But still, I wanted to play it. It wasn't like I could just pass this up. On November 15th, 2012... Wait, no, it was the 13th. Yeah, November 13th, 2012. I spent most of my GameStop money on Super Mario 3D Land because I wanted that game, and also to remove the temptation to play Skyward Sword. Granted, my Twilight Princess LP may have had more to do with that, but still, I would wait for Christmas. When I went into GameStop that December to pick out my Christmas gifts, because the way we do it now is like my mom doesn't know much about video games, so I just tell her what I want. Not just tell her what I want, but I go in and then open it on Christmas. It's weird. So I picked out Mario Kart 7 and Skyward Sword, along with guidebooks for both. I noticed that a Skyward Sword demo was on one of the TVs. Despite my nervousness, this was pretty exciting, getting to play it for the first time. And it didn't go so well. I sucked, I didn't enjoy it, I was even more nervous now, but I convinced myself that I would get used to it and left with the game. On Christmas morning, I officially got the game, but I couldn't play it yet because I was at my grandma's house in Connecticut, so I had to wait a week before we got home. I forget exactly why we went to Best Buy the next day. I think it was so my brother could buy something with his Christmas money, but we were there and I saw the same demo. And I played the boss battle and got my ass kicked. I was convinced that the game was broken, and during a drive from Massachusetts back to my grandma's house, I typed a 2,500 word review of Skyward Sword just to vent my anger. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's too long and really too depressing, but I will read some highlights. With all the Zelda innovation, this is a review. Well, at least parts of it that I thought would be good to share. With all the Zelda innovations being successes in my book, I put my fears aside and assumed Skyward Sword would do the same thing. Then I played it, and as I was playing, words kept going through my mind. No, this can't be Skyward Sword. It's not good. It's supposed to be good. The controls are not fully responsive. Fighting that Stalfos, it wasn't fun. It felt tense, and I felt like I would never be able to play Skyward Sword with the feel like I know what I'm doing. These enemies are going down. I failed miserably, so I tried to do, I failed miserably, and then I tried to do the boss battle at Best Buy. I didn't script this too well. Sorry. So when I tried to do the boss battle at Best Buy, I failed miserably, and now I'm angry. I can't believe that a Zelda game is bad, and I'm angry that one of my Christmas gifts was wasted on this game. And it's no one's fault but mine. The story's probably great. The environments and locations and the flow of the game, they're probably all there. The dungeons are probably filled with awesome themes and puzzles, but I can't enjoy any of it because I can't play it with the way the controls are. I know I'm not the only one, but I am the minority. I find Skyward Sword to be, a word I would never thought I would use to describe a Zelda game, unplayable. And that was that. But that wasn't all. This was the message I sent to Mr. Super Moneybag on December 27th. We had a thing where we exchanged trivia questions, and I decided to send this. 1. What new Zelda game do I hate? Number 2. What new Zelda game do I find unplayable? Number 3. What new Zelda game do I want to rip the disc in half but would rather get my money back because that is more sensible? Bonus. What Wii accessory would I like nothing more than to use a baseball bat with the cover of Previous Answer as a bat? This wasn't the only message I sent. When BRB224, BRB224, I'm really sorry about that. When BRB224 asked me if I had Skyward Sword, I sent this. Please do not mention that game to me. But if I don't clear up why, then we'll keep talking about this. So, I got it for Christmas, but I played 2 demos of it, and it is crap. In my opinion, of course, but I'm very strong on that. I'm trading it in, most likely for Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I know I should give it a chance, but I really have no desire to play it. And I'm so bad with the fucking motion controls, I probably couldn't get very far. That's the sad but honest truth. When he replied that he loved the game because of the motion controls, I honestly felt like crying. For the rest of that day, and the next, I was genuinely depressed. I hated staring at that brand new gold case because I knew what it held. A game that had so much I wanted to be able to experience, but I couldn't do it. I was convinced the game was broken. Of course my parents tried to understand, but they didn't know why I was taking it so seriously. I described it like a death in the family. I entered the GameStop in West Hartford, Connecticut with the intent of selling my unused copy of Skyward Sword so I would never have to look at the thing again. It wouldn't cure my depression, but at least I could get some other game that I would enjoy. Game and guidebook in hand, I walked in the store. There was a line. Don't you hate waiting in line? Well, this one time the line saved me, because as my dad was waiting, I was looking for other games. A voice came in my head. Give it another chance. As bad as I felt at that moment, I would have felt worse if I sold it right then, left to wonder for years of what could have been. So we left without selling it, and I held that vain hope that the third time would be the charm. It actually made me feel a little better, because at least I could believe that it wasn't over yet. The hope was still there. I think that maybe 1 out of 100 times you hope for something in vain, it comes true. When I got home on December 30th, I wasn't smiling. I was all business. I put Skyward Sword in the Wii. I think I prayed, but I don't remember anything until the opening cutscene, which is amazing, but I didn't enjoy it because I was so nervous. My nervousness was getting in the way of my enjoyment for the first part of the game. When I got the sword, I was still a little shaky, but I started to feel that I would improve. That first segment of the game was all about wounds being healed, my anger and sadness gradually fading as I warmed up to the game. Then it came time to fight that boss again. I kicked his ass. First try. No chance of losing. The transformation was complete. This was the game I had been looking forward to for 2 years. This is the happy ending that I didn't write about in my venting review. It felt so unreal, but it was real. The rest of the game was so much fun without that weight. I had to get it off my shoulder. With the weight, I just had to get off my shoulders. I couldn't believe I'd almost sold it. And if I had sold it, I wouldn't know what I was missing. If I had sold the game, my feelings would still be the same, and I would be sharing the entire vent review on my channel. Not as a look in the past, but as my true feelings. If there hadn't been a line, I would own Kirby's Return to Dreamland, but I wouldn't get the true enjoyment out of that game, because I would know what it would represent. I would watch Nintendo Capri Sun's Let's Play just to see the game, and I would have enjoyed it with a bittersweet feeling. There would always be something missing. Death in the family really was the perfect way to describe it. But I didn't sell it. I kept it, I played through, and loved it. Now, I've decided to Let's Play the game, with a couple of twists. You'll see what they are. So, here we go. So this concludes my retelling of my original experiences with the game. But there's one more issue I have to discuss. What was the reason I didn't like the game at first? Because it was different, right? And difference can be scary. But for some reason, some people like to classify this game as the same old thing, nothing new. There's a phrase I like to use. It goes like this. It's the little things that count. So now I'll reveal one of the twists of my Let's Play. You know how NCS has that So Happy counter? Well, I'm going to have a counter of my own. And every time I spot something new about Skyward Sword, the counter will go up by one. We'll determine whether Skyward Sword really is the same old thing. And I will be fair, I won't make the counter go up just for each new character, text box, and location. It's mainly the gameplay features that I'm looking at here. The second twist will be revealed a little later, within the first 5 parts, I'm sure. So how about we get this started?